English translation, 143rd contact. Sunday, 22nd March 1981, 18:53 hours.
I've only called you today because I would gladly like to know a few things about our universe, if you want to answer these questions for me.
Sure, on the other hand, I also would have visited you within the next few days because I have a few things of importance to discuss with you.
And what is that?
First, state your questions. I can still report my concern to you afterwards. It concerns the warnings that I suggested to you recently.
Warnings? Oh yes, you probably mean the authorities and organizations that want to approach me again. That also stands somewhere in one of the last reports. You know, however, that I have no major worries about that.
Sure, but the relevant interests have worsened very much in the meantime, which is why it is appropriate that now you seriously need to worry about it. The members of your group are also involved in this, but about that I will report to you afterwards. What questions do you have?
This is simple, actually. The first question is this: what is the diameter of the entire creation?
This had to come at some point, and you can save the remaining questions because I will certainly explain them to you in the answer of your question.
As you wish. I am listening.
To answer your question, I must be somewhat detailed. The universe is divided into 7 units. That is to say, rings or belts that, entirely together, form the whole universe, and all of these rings are rotating against each other and have different diameters and an ovoid shape. 1 central core, 2 Ur-core belt, 3 Ur-space belt, 4 solid-state matter universe belt, 5 transformation belt, 6 creation belt, and 7 displacement belt. And we also call the creation belt the creation matter belt or the expansion belt, and the displacement belt, the last and extreme, embodies, according to your sense, a bumper belt. Now, the solid-state universe is that part of the universe in which the new births exist, so the nascent stars, etc., with all their life forms. This real solid-state universe is calculated from the end of the creation Ur-core's outer wall up to the beginning of the outer wall of the transformation belt, which exhibits a half diameter of 7,869 octillion light-years and is thus the next largest belt after the creation belt. In addition, the outer wall of the transformation belt is where this belt collides with the inner wall of the real creation belt, also known as the expansion belt or creation matter belt. So this is that space which embodies the solid-state universe and is so called because in these 3 areas, the coarse material becomes existent and is existent. And the coarse material becomes existent in the transformation belt only by a transformation from remains of the penetrating creation belt, which are converted into coarse material from immaterial energy. This is the real solid-state universe, which consists of the transformation belt, the universe belt, and the Ur-space belt. In addition, the transformation belt exhibits such a gigantic mass and is the next largest belt to the creation belt because it is responsible for ensuring that in the space created by the expansion belt, the transformation of fine material energies into coarse material takes place, and at the same time, time itself appears and becomes existent. Already in this transformation belt, time begins to run into the past, from which aging originates. This means that in this transformation belt, chronons begin to exist, then are aging and becoming tachyons, and are representing the past. By the way, tachyons may be proven by the terrestrial scientists in a short time. At the same time, the speed also decreases from the transformation belt in an irregular manner, but in a certain half-life. The irregular decrease in speed, which amounts to 147 times the speed of light in its starting point and expansion point, comes about through mutually self-influencing and different time streams that have already changed in their speed. In the interior center of the universe is the real Ur-core, which grows with each fallback of the creation, so of the whole universe, doubling itself in size. Thus, the core will be twice as large with the next fallback as it is today. From this core, referring to the energy field resting in the space belt, which is the fallen back creation, new energies form for the renewed expansion to the next universe, whereby at the end of the slumber time, a new Big Bang takes place and a new expansion creates a new universe. Generally, all things of a much more refined form, which means that all coarse material will not be so stable anymore as in this universe. The space belt itself is that part of the universe from which the expansion of the creation occurs, in which the creation energy also slumbers and, on the other hand, after every fallback, develops itself and takes up new fundamental forces from the core, just to expand again through a renewed Big Bang. Of course, the dimension of the space belt also grows from fallback to fallback, because through every expansion of the universe and through the associated unchangeable effects and the extreme expansion that again follows contraction, the mass of the entire creation grows, always doubling itself in size. So thus, it becomes evident from this that in the becoming and passing of the universe, a cycle of Big Bang expansion, contraction, Big Bang expansion, etc. is arranged. Now, the central core embodies that belt, which consists of the real matter, which carries out its existence as generative material and life material of a pure, spiritual form, as real idea energy created from an creation, by whose strength alone this universe was able to create itself. This central core resembles an immense and continually loading accumulator block, which exhibits a magnetic energy that is immeasurable to us up to now, which binds the existing universe to itself and prevents too great of an expansion. This power guarantees that with the start of approximately 47 trillion years of expansion, the expansion speed starts to decrease from 147 times the speed of light and slowly drops until the expansion comes to a halt after 155,520 trillion years and, thus, begins the fallback, the contraction. Thus, the central core forms the real power and life center, while the core can be seen as a real energy storage. But this central core, the core and the space, are only an infinitesimally small fraction of the size of the whole universe. The most gigantic belt is embodied by the creation belt, which further spreads itself into the gaps of the surrounding universes and creates a new universal space. This creation belt is the real creation and the creation center, while the central core, with its diameter of 7 light-years, as well as the space belt, with its half diameter of 103 trillion light-years, and the core belt, with its half diameter of 103.5 trillion light-years, represent those structures known as the universe's central sun and the universe's central galaxy, respectively. In addition, the central core represents the central sun of the universe, while the space and the core carry out their existence as a central universe galaxy. Now, the outermost belt, with its half diameter of 14 million light-years, which we do not count with the actual universe, is the displacement belt. This has the task of displacing outwardly and against adjacent universes, and against the nothing space of the absolute absolutum, so to speak, as the ramming force, which pushes everything away from itself and displaces outwardly, so that, after knocking against it and before pressing itself behind it, it can provide the universe the necessary space for expansion, and therefore the expansion itself.
With that, you have actually answered virtually all relevant questions that I wanted to ask. Just one more question. Would it be possible that we could represent this ring belt construction of the universe schematically? I have paper and a ballpoint pen here.
Sure. Here, you can transfer this representation to your paper.
Ah, this is really good. Thank you. Only I see here that everything is perfectly circular and not ovoid.
We make our diagrams in this manner for the reason that we can insert the exact data in their average values. Of course, the universe is, in reality, ovoid and not round, as we show it here schematically. And also, the information given to you does not correspond to those measures that exist in the universe. They are only the exact average values, calculated according to the shape of the circle.
I understand, but can you tell me about where we can find ourselves with the Earth on this diagram?
Sure, you could mark the SOL system around here and the DAL universe here.
Ah, then when we went or flew into the DAL universe, we would have flown in a direct line here through the Earth-space belt and then here through the transformation belt.
That is correct because other than the Ur core and the central core, all other belts of the universe are usable for all life forms and are passable if they have the necessary means for it.
Fantastic, and I am also finished with the drawing. But I would still have a question now. The creation itself, so the creation belt, which still expands at 147 times the speed of light, is truly nothing more than a tremendous and immeasurable mass of spiritual, Sohar radiant, blazing energy that spreads out in a storm-tossed, glimmering explosion, right?
That is right.
With that, I now know these things. However, another question still lies on my tongue, and indeed, in connection with what you still want to tell me.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes, recently, we spoke incidentally of different places where we could go, perhaps before the Great War begins. Would there not still be other possibilities? If we wanted to go where you advised us, then we would have to raise about 25 million Swiss francs.
Sure, there are still other possibilities, but those places are not very safe unless you would build your buildings according to our instructions.
But nevertheless, this could be done.
Then I want to advise you that you should go, if necessary, to however, only in a future time, with which I want to say that this should not be soon. At the moment, you must only pay attention to the fact that you can still build all that is necessary in the center and provide what is still necessary.
So you think that afterwards, the whole group should go?
Sure, we have already talked about this for a long time, but you have never seriously taken our advice into consideration.
You know why this was always impossible. The quarrels and betrayals.
That is well known to me, but now it is the time when everyone will slowly become reasonable. On your part, you should primarily be mindful to act as fast as possible according to what you have already known for many years. That you will find the basic beginning of your mission in this country, but that you will then possibly have to carry out your mission, unperturbed, also outside. Recently, I also spoke of the fact that already, the official powers try to destroy you and the entire mission. But in addition to this, organizations have also been established, which serve solely for the purpose of destroying the mission and you, and to make it impossible. Emmanuel already explained in his time that you will be pursued in your homeland and that the whole world will be against you. Unfortunately, it only remained hidden from us, from which side the danger should find its origin. The peculiarity of the Earth humans, that they are able to speak other than what they truthfully think, has made it impossible for us. Otherwise, we could have prevented wolves coming along in sheep's clothing as your confidants, who then shamefully betrayed you. Now, unfortunately, time has progressed, and I have to get back. The answering of questions for you has taken up more time than I expected, so I will discuss these matters with you in even more detail at our next meeting. I hope that it will be very soon and in connection with your work that is to be done regarding the filming and photographing. So, unfortunately, I must say goodbye to you now, because I really have to go. Farewell, and be very careful, because many evil forces have in the meantime been directed against you. Goodbye!
Goodbye, and very dear thanks. Greet the others, and give them my thanks. Take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.